Hi, I'm Italia Oliver. Welcome. If it's your first time to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell notification to be notified of the latest videos. Today, it's my pleasure to bring you part 1 of another multi-part channeling series. This one with star being Jack, the El Shigan from Orion. I'm calling it Lessons from Orion. These are the first channelings I did with Jack. Now, you might remember Jack from one of my earlier videos where he shared information about healing technologies for humans. I'd recommend perhaps going back and watching that video to really get an idea of what Jack does as a light body scientist. It's fascinating stuff. In this series of videos, I wanted to pull back the curtain and reveal Jack's backstory and history through the channeled interview format. First, you might be asking, how did this unusual star being even come to me? Well, here's the story. On August 24th, 2017, that night in my bed, before falling asleep, I felt so much light and energy running through my body. All my cells just danced with like fits of joy, like these little happy laughing emojis or minions. I was seriously glowing. And I wanted and wished that all of humanity could feel this way, like I was feeling in that exact same moment. I eventually fell asleep in this electric state of bliss. Later that night, around 3 a.m., I woke up to go to the bathroom. But when I crawled back into bed, a voice popped into my mind and said the words, kilowatts per nanosecond. It sounded kind of robotic. My brows furrowed. Kilowatts per nanosecond? What? It repeated, kilowatts per nanosecond. I asked, is someone here? I looked around our dark bedroom. Nothing was there except for my husband, sound asleep. Then I heard the words, I am Jack. And then he appeared. Jack was green, maybe about 4 feet tall, and wearing a doctor's white lab coat. I was scared and quickly turned on the light next to my bed. My husband was still sound asleep. Jack said, I don't mean to frighten you. How about this? He then flashed a photo of my son in my mind when he was 3 years old, wearing a rainbow baseball cap with a propeller spinner on top. I always loved that picture. Jack placed the cap on his head. Is that better? He asked. Although it was beyond weird that I was looking at this short green being wearing a doctor's lab coat and a rainbow propeller hat, for some inexplicable reason, I instantly felt safe. Yes, I replied. What do you want? From there, he told me about the manual for light body activation in humans, and our relationship began. Now, in this video, part 1, we're going to set things up with my husband asking Morenae and Andromeda I have contact with about Jack and his race of beings from Orion. Who are they? What are they like? This was back when Jack and I first started communicating. In part 2, you'll hear from Jack directly about his life as an Earth human, so definitely look out for that. Now, here's part 1.
Hi, Morenae. Thank you for joining us again. We were wondering if we could ask you a few questions about an entity that Italia has encountered this week from the planet Orion. His name is Jack. Are you familiar with any beings from the planet Orion or that galaxy Orion?
Yes, I do know of like the Dracos, but there are peaceful beings also in the constellation of Orion. They're not as many, but they do exist.
Do you know anything else about them? Are there any of them on the council?
There is a race of beings that is from Orion that is on the council. They are a peaceful bunch, but they are still learning mm, they're still learning themselves. I am at a certain level and they are at their level, and so they exist on a different frequency than me, yet they are learning as well.
Do they look like tall whites or grays?
The beings from Orion are tall, more purple in color. They are beings that are interested in learning about health and technology, and they want to further advance Earth. They want to help the Earth in that regard.
So they're not harmful beings.
Mm, no, not harmful. I know Italia has her reservations about them because of the way that Jack, as she called it, showed up, but they are not harmful. Mm, but it is always best, my in humble opinion, it's always best to question who it is that comes to you in these meetings.
So she just has to question the intentions of this being, and we'll find out, right?
Yes, it is always best for her to follow her highest good. In this case, for now, it is best for her to mm, proceed with caution in that regard. But it is not someone who is an entity that is evil. It is just different.
Do you think these beings are just trying to contact her to try to relay important scientific information for humanity?
Hmm. I believe that they're trying to tell her about, yes, how she can help humanity with the words. They are trying to move into the fifth dimension, these beings, because they realize that they are. There is negativity around them, and they are trying to move up in frequency so that they will exist in a different way. This Jack is one of those beings that wants to move into the fifth frequency. He is in the fourth frequency, and he wants to do good. He does not mean harm. He is playful like grays, but he is not a gray. He is advanced than that.
What do these beings like Jack contribute to the council?
Mm. They give us an alternate perspective, another way of seeing it from their dimension and from what they are experiencing on Orion. So we get to hear their woes.
What is their life like there?
Mm. There are times when reptilians will come and bother them, and they are more peaceful lot. And so the reptilians can find ways to bother them in the way that they are controlling. And so sometimes these purple beings suffer tragedy, and so the purple beings want to I'm feeling the word mutiny, but that's not what I'm trying to say. Revolt. They want to revolt in a peaceful way by upping their frequency and moving into the realm of the fifth dimension.
How many of these these good Orion beings are there? Are they in the minority in their system?
Yes, they are in the minority. There are only a few million of them. The
What is the
Orion
significance of Orion as a star system?
belt. Orion is one of the oldest constellations in the universe, and as such, it has sort of this has this not reputation, but it is of significance, and so there is always some sort of domination, much like on your planet, where there is domination from the Europeans who massacred many indigenous peoples around the world. It is the same idea of this idea of domination and control. And Orion is a constellation that is more temperate to live on. It is a better, it has, how can I say, desirable places for a place to live for entities.
So these are physical beings, not light beings yet. Is that right?
In the case of Jack, Jack can be a light being if he is on the cusp of that. He can be a light being if he wants to appear that way, if he wants to appear like as he shows Italia with his lab coat, then he can appear that way as well. Yeah, he is able to do both.
What's the how old are these beings? Are these one of the oldest of the beings in the galaxy, or is this a younger race?
The race of Jack. These race of Jack has been around for quite some time, hundreds of thousands of years. Mm, but their lifespan is not as long as, let's say, me. Their lifespan, I would say, is around 500 years.
So in terms of the council, do they have a lot of interaction with Jack's race, or do they have less interaction with them?
There is a representative for Jack's race who will speak at the council when there is a need. We get to hear about their what they want to share, their issues. So yes, and they have input as well into the peaceful galaxy that we are trying to create and sustain.
Are they really masters at health and healing?
Yes, more so technology, but the reason why health and healing, Italia is more versed with health and healing, and so it was in more of a natural match why Jack might want to contact her because they are technology based, they're scientific in nature, but they have a real propensity for health and healing of the human body.
So you see their information as valuable to us, yes?
Yes, it is. Not at this time because there's not the technology for what he is sharing with her as now, no, but it is valuable, yes, for the future.
So thank you so much for watching and listening. If you have any questions or comments, I encourage you to do that below. And please check out my channeling playlist where you'll find more channelings from Morenae and the other star beings in my channeled collective called Spirit Song. Until next time, take care and be well.